Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Kouryer podcast, which is episode 188. And yes, we're only 11 to 12 episodes away from that mythical 200th episode. And well, our today's guest is Mr. Kevin Gnutzmans. He's a visual development and concept artist and also a character designer from Piracicaba, I think I messed that up, Brazil. And yes, he's from Brazil. I think I had a couple of, by the way, just shout out to Mariana Salomon as well. She was on episode 10 of the podcast. And she was my first Brazilian guest. Then there was, I think, Stefano Gil. He's also another illustrator from Brazil. And now we have Gnutzmans, and which we're going to have a lot of juicy talks and things, subjects ready to talk about on this episode. I think we're going to enjoy it. And of course, before we get into the questions, there's a couple of quick things I need to mention, which are super important. And for any regular people, like audience or listeners to the podcast, they probably know what I'm going to say. Which is, in the for contact section of the captions, of course, yes, you can find links to the ID to his Instagram, the link to his ArtStation, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube channel, and also a link to an interview he did with Ed Lang on his YouTube channel, which is involved around the subject of getting into 3D as a 2D artist, which is a hot topic right now among in the industry about concept artists. Yeah, I see that smile. I did my research. I know, I'm a professional. And you can check that video as well. I mean, of course, we're going to briefly talk about this topic in the episode as well. But yeah, so with that being said, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm great, man. It's hot in here, which is good. Not that much, but I'm doing great. I'm just starting on a new team. We're probably going to talk more about it today. But yeah, I'm really excited. Just finished my project on Star Guardians for Riot, which is, I'm super proud of everything we did, and then now moving to a different team. It's so exciting, man. It couldn't be better, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure, man. And well, let's jump into the first question of the podcast, which is the signature question of the podcast, which I ask everyone, without any exceptions, which is give us a little introduction on how we got into the world of visual arts and design. Basically, tell us the story of that moment that made you realize, oh, I want to become an artist for the rest of my life. How was the journey been for you?
It's kind of funny because my dad is an engineer and he works. He's an electrical engineer. He works on cars, basically. And since I was younger, he used to bring me all these magazines with different cars. And that's all I drew. As a kid, I only drew cars. That's all I did. Then, moving forward, when I was in school, I was that kid that used to draw. Everyone were like, oh, we have art class. Let's ask Kevin to draw something. Ha, ha, ha. But then, when I went to high school, there was this kid that he was so much better at drawing than me. I just knew how to basically draw and paint cars, and not that very well. And he knew how to paint and draw characters, my favorite characters, Naruto, Goku, and all different poses. And he was my age, and I got so jealous of this guy. And I'm like, okay, because I was not the main kid, the main character that was the drawing kid, he was the drawing kid. I was just a side character. But then I was like, okay, I was kind of jealous. And then I went to a really, really small art school we have in my city. And it started that way, like a competition with him, even though he didn't knew that. But then I really, really enjoyed learning to draw, and I stopped caring about being better than him. Later on, funny enough, he stopped drawing, and today he's a musician. He plays piano, guitar, violin, everything. Still connected to art. But yeah, and I kept drawing. I started on comics. Back in the day, I really liked super muscular characters with all the muscle showing and cut. I found that beautiful. I was really into that when I was 14, 15 years old. But then one day I was studying this school and I saw a kid drawing a Disney character. And I was like, oh my God, all the characters that I draw are kind of the same. They're super strong, but the proportions are the same. And he's painting fat and big characters, small ones, tall ones. It's so much richer and so much cooler. And then I was like, okay, I need to learn that. That's when I moved to cartoon. But back then I was also just drawing on paper, no computers, no nothing. And then I found out like a couple months later about tablets. And back in the day we didn't had Facebook, wasn't really a thing. ArtStation, we had none of these. The main thing was DeviantArt. So I started to post on DeviantArt my shitty drawings as a kid. And then I started to paint. I mean, by the way, can I keep going or should I just shorten the story?
No. Please keep going as much as you want.
Okay, because it's, yeah, okay. So, okay, then I started to draw characters, cartoonish characters, mostly characters. Actually, today I work as an environment artist, but then I was like really into characters. Okay, then last year of high school, I had to decide what am I going to do with my future. And as a 17 years old kid, like you don't really know nothing about life. How can you make such a decision? But you kind of have to. So I freaked it out and I was like, okay, there is no way I can make a living out of art. Because like in Brazil, we don't have like a huge entertainment industry. And back then was even worse. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll do do what my dad did. And I went to college to do engineering. To be an engineer. But then on this college, they had a program so you can have a discount to study there. And to have this discount, I had to work. And the place that I went to work was the college publisher, let's say. And I was drawing there. So I was like, okay, I'm studying engineer, but I'm drawing and I have a lot of fun with this. And I'm starting to not really enjoy engineering that much. So, you know what? Let me just, fuck it. I will be an artist. And then I quit college, went back home, and decided to study design, because we don't have like entertainment courses in college in Brazil. We don't have design for entertainment, nothing related to the entertainment industry. Mostly design, but for marketing. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, this is the thing that is the closest, so I'm going to do that. And that was a huge thing because in college, I've met a lot of people that just like me wanted to work for games and for movies. And even though the course is not really about that, these people presented to me Schoolism and ArtStation was starting out, Twitter, and all those things that I could learn online. And that's what I did. I completely, I was studying on the college design, but I didn't really give a fuck for all the classes. I was focused on drawing and painting, and that's what I did for the next 2 years and a half. Then a couple of companies started to reach out for work, and I had to make a decision because college was, as the course was progressing, it would take more and more of my time to do the homework and stuff. So I had to quit college, or I locked my subscription, let's say, on college to try and work in the entertainment industry and accept those offers. And if that worked, I wouldn't go back to college. And that's what I did. And I never went back to college, still working till this day. So yeah, that's kind of how it all went down. But there's a lot of details that we can go through when talking about 3D. How did you went from characters to environment? But yeah, that's I think that answers your question. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. And of course, here's the thing. Of course, I have like more questions that covers the range of the subjects that you mentioned. Which the next one, for example, is what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on right now, and tell us about your experience from the start of that thing until now. Like, for example, of course, in the introduction, I mentioned that you're a visual development and concept and character design artist. But you also mentioned that you were working as environment artist now. But I mean, of course, I understand, people can be generalists even at professional level, and there's no problem with that. But right now, what do you specialize in? So tell us about like your journey in specialization. All right, sorry, go on.
That's a hard question because I don't feel like I'm specialized on anything, but at the same time I am. But the work that I ended up doing varies a lot. So I did card games for a while, for a very short period of time at the beginning. Then I started to work on a couple of studios in Brazil doing freelance, doing backgrounds for animation. That's what they needed back then. Even though I know how to draw characters and design characters. But I also that's one thing I really like to do almost everything. 3D, I like to model. That's not like I do that just because it helps me. I like to model. I like characters. I like different subjects. I like the environment. I like to prop. So, but what people currently are hiring me to do is mostly work that is heavily focused on background and environment. So, for instance, for Riot, I was an artist on the Arcane event, not the animation, but they had an event on the client, the game, which I painted all the backgrounds. No characters, just backgrounds.
Nice.
And then after that, I worked on the Star Guardian, which is currently live right now on the client, which they have characters over the backgrounds, but it's another artist that did that. I worked with all the team, and I focused most on the backgrounds. But now I switched to a different team where I'll be designing, because at the end of the day, I am creating backgrounds. That's the simpler question. That's the simpler answer. But in the first case, which is for Star Guardian, the world already exists, and I'm working kind of as an illustrator, but I'm illustrating the backgrounds, not the characters. But right now, I'm actually designing things, props, thinking about how the environment's gonna work for the character to play on it. It's a different approach to the same sort of topic, background. So yeah, I hope that answers. But yeah.
All right, awesome. So wow, it's interesting. So even the Star Guardian event that is going on right now, you did all the background things on the client as well, right?
Yeah, me and another artist. Her name is Nicole. Yeah, we did all the backgrounds for the client.
Well, awesome. That's great to hear. But the sad thing about League is that I actually, one of my friends kept begging me to, hey, reinstall League, let's play again. And I was like, I didn't want to, put him down. So I actually installed League. But I think you can already tell where the story is going. And the thing is, of course, we weren't going to try hard in the game. So the thing we do is we usually have fun in games. Just play weird metas or something,
Yeah.
So he picked Veigar support and I picked AP Nasus for bot, all right? And the thing is, we had a lot of fun, but then here's what happened next game. I went jungle Rammus. So we started actually playing the game. Like I went jungle Rammus, and he and his other friend went bots. He was I think Wayne and Zyra duo. I don't know if he's Zyra. Yeah, I think it's Veigar Wayne. All right, but whatever. The thing is, it got so I actually ended up having migraine by the end of the game. So I just uninstalled the game.
Really?
Yes. But here's the thing. Yes,
way too try hard, man. I can't. I just have fun most of the time. Some people really go so try hard that they get really mad.
Your teammates
stressful.
Eat. Yes, your teammates eat. They you can mute all. I always do that, of course, against just my teammates. But yeah, I mean, your teammates can be sometimes not so pleasant people, and yeah, it becomes really frustrating. But for example, a game like Valorant, which I still play, it rarely happens. Of course, it happens, but it's way rarer than League. And it's actually.
Do you feel like that happens because on Valorant, you can carry more the game if you're good, and your teammates are not that good? But in League, even if you're really, really good, if your teammate sucks, you're gonna lose probably. Do you think that's what happens? Well, because the teamwork has more impact on League than in Valorant. What do you think?
It's a bit of a top subject, but this is, of course, I'm not a professional player or gamer or anything, and this is just my subjective anecdotal experience. In my opinion, yes, in Valorant, if your teammates are bad, that's fine. But if your teammates are toxic, that's a whole different story, because they can use their abilities to piss you off and just mess with you, flash you, just burn you. Oh my god! Especially my worst experience with Valorant was when some kid picked Phoenix, picked Phoenix, and at the time I was a Phoenix main. I was like, oh, all right, that's fine, I'll pick something else, he wants Phoenix or whatever. But then to my naivety, and I didn't know he picked that specifically to troll. So he would pick the bomb and just go away or just start burning people up, and yeah, it was just such a bad taste in mouth. But yeah, I mean, this is like online games. Like, what do you expect? You expect people to be civilized and fun. But honestly, like I've even had like other artists like from Riot Team as well, and we actually talk about this issue, and it's real. People expect Riot to like fix this like so easy, but it's not. It's not an easy task.
There's just so much that you can do about like the human experience, in games, because like even if you do all that is in your hand, some people still be trolling and will still make your games. It's a game, it's an online game. You have to play as a team, and but I feel like when you play League and people are not toxic and you play well, it's a lot of fun. Like, it's two extremes. You are either having a miserable experience with someone really toxic, or you're having like so much fun because you're just demolishing everyone. The team is working together, and I mean, for me at least, I don't take that seriously like a loss. I don't stress myself that much, but I know people do. So, and I love League. I've been playing for 6 years. So going back to the subject of art, it was really a huge thing for me to do anything for Riot when I started. Yeah,
that's awesome to hear, man. And the thing is actually about Valorant. Like, listen, I can enjoy Valorant solo, but I can't enjoy League solo because I've tried. And the thing is, like, oh my god, as you said it perfectly. In League, if your teammates are bad, you get rolled so easily. But in Valorant, you can actually use your brain and do like 200 IQ plays and stuff like that, And I'm not talking about camping, by the way, like just camping somewhere and just wait. No, that's not how we play a shooter game. And by the way, I'm not saying there's anything wrong necessarily with camping, but you get the point,
Yeah.
And my main's on my main thing that I'm actually like super proud of, that I know I'm super good at in Valorant, is Killjoy. That's my main, because she's like Teemo. She's super tactical. You have to use traps, and yes, you can sue me right now because
you
I
have to play your game and play smart.
Yeah, I used to be a Teemo main as well. Like I'm guilty of that. Yes, I know.
People getting pissed on the chat right now, on the comment section, just screaming at you.
And here's the thing, like about, for example, Teemo. People think like Teemo is actually really hard to play with. It's actually super easy to counter.
It is. There is this guy in Brazil. He's a challenger, Teemo main. I love to watch his streams. He looks like a psychopath because he can predict things. Like, he would put a mushroom in a place like completely random, and someone will step there in a specific moment where fighting is starting. And I'm like, holy shit, how many steps ahead of time this guy is. It's crazy. So if you're really good at Teemo, it's insane. I know that. It's really insane. Yeah.
Listen, have you played Dota 2?
No, I know.
All right, here's the thing. I have the dishonor to actually say I wasted 4,000 hours of my life on that game before I came to League. When I was young, when I was like 12 till 16, 17 or something, And I played that game a lot. And there was this champ in that game called Techies. It's basically the team of Dota 2. It sets up traps, it hides, people hate it. Anyone who plays Techies, they hate that player. And I love this character. It's like, the champ is like, consists of 3 different characters together, if that makes sense. And they're so fun and goofy. I love them. They're so adorable. And
it's the type of character that will piss people off. That's why you love.
Exactly. And I just love them. I don't play the game to be cool. And I just love the characters. It's so fucking cool. And I picked Teemo because he was like cute and adorable, but deadly. Honestly, that's simple. And they too, like,
it was really fun.
Yeah, these 2 champs are literally the champs that everyone hates. But they're both like, if you know how to play them, it's easy to counter. And they're really fun to play, honestly, because I mean, like the average mentality of like a League player is, I'm the carry, I farm everything. Top, you go tank, you go in front, you take damage, I take the pentakill, and I feel good about myself. And if myself does that, I'm gonna report team. If that's basically the average like MOBA player, And I'm not like that. I try to play 4D chess while everyone playing checkers, And oh my god, with Teemo, and because of Techies, actually, Techies has bombs like Teemo's shrooms.
Oh, I see.
And
mechanically similar.
And my skills transferred into League, so you can imagine where that it goes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do with Teemo. Like, you can go with the just attacker build, I call it sharpshooter build, or you can go just full on, just massive damage, like shroom build. Which, depending on your champ that is in front of you, like Teemo can easily get encountered by a lot of things, like I can name a lot, like for example, Malphite, even with Nasus. Nasus easily counters Teemo. Can you believe that?
Really? I thought Timo would
Easily. No, no, no,
put
no.
Nasus on the bag
No,
because
no,
he
no,
can't
no, no.
cancel his auto.
I've had like, level 7, 600,000 level Teemos in front of me, and I crushed it with Nasus. Do you know how?
Oh.
Come on, you're a league player. You probably should guess by now. Come on.
I don't know, man.
All right,
I'm not
all
playing
right.
top. I'm a Zed man. I don't know how things work in top
But
lane.
by the way, man, my most rank was silver, gold 1 or something. I never played rank that competitive. I just played it for fun, for the intrigue of it,
Yeah.
The thing is, Magic Nasus. You go AP runes, like, to cause.
Oh, yeah. You
It
just
is-
max your W, I guess, or your
No,
E.
no,
I
no.
don't remember.
Your E.
Yeah, your E.
And
Yeah.
the runes you set up, and
That
it is
shit does a lot of damage, actually.
a lot of
If you're
damage.
full AP,
Yes.
that does a lot of damage.
It is disgusting. Like, Teemo is like a tiny little Yordle. It dies so fast. And if you just do one E and he just runs away with his W and his tail behind it. What can Teemo try to like right click me? I'll just bonk his head and just eat him. That easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, it's so fun when I have, for example, I pick
But
Nasus.
I can see that you have a lot of fun playing League when you have fun.
Yes.
I mean, it's been. I can't believe I've been playing it for 6 years now. Like, the game changed a little bit with meta and stuff, but still, it's the same thing, and I'm still enjoying it. I don't know. Maybe it's like football or something, a sport that you can, like, even though the game is the same, every match is kind of different because people are so unpredictable, especially in low elo. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, with everything that I play, I don't necessarily do it for ranked or anything. It's not that I can't. It's just because, of course, my life and everything, I have to focus on other things. But when I play it for the joy of problem solving. Like, when for example, when I play Nessus and I try to find ways to counter, like, every type of champ that comes in front of me, and I find it actually it's so enjoyable for me. For example, when I first pick Nessus and a Vayne, level 7 Vayne comes, everyone's like, GG, it's over, top diff, and no. I just go to runes, pick Ignite, and do the AP rune, and boom. Wayne has, like, by minutes 8, Vayne has only 13 CS, and I have like 60 CS by minute 8.
Yeah.
So,
Vayne suffers on a good team with hand. Yeah, that's for sure.
Same with Killjoy. Like, I don't have bad aim for my rank. I'm just and I don't play that much, by the way. Like, I only played one match in the last 3 days, and but with Killjoy, and not just Killjoy, other champs as well, but Killjoy specifically, you can do a lot of like tactical strategizing, and it has so many potential things you can do with Killjoy specifically. And when for example, I'm in a 1v3 situation and I use all my abilities and to just outsmart that 3 people, it's like an enjoyable math solution that I solve. Or when you play chess and you outsmart your opponent in a moveset or an opening, like, I kind of enjoy that problem solving thing. And that's the same reason I even enjoyed Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a long time, actually. And I practiced it for 3 years now, but I have to keep it aside to focus on other things, yes, actually. And the reason I've been consistent with this because they all seem fun. And the reason they all seem fun was because they had that aspect of fun problem solving for me. And that's like the very bare minimum. And yeah, I can understand why some people, might see the video games in a different light. Like, maybe they just want to go and have fun carrying the team, getting the high scores and killing people. That's certain dopamine rush. But for me, yeah.
But that's one of the cool things. Like, even though the game is the same, everyone can enjoy the game in a different way. Like, for me, I like to play with mechanically hard champions, like Zed, where you can outplay people, Kiana, champions with especially fast, high mobility and fast combos. And even though, like, sometimes I lose the game, if I made like a couple of flashy plays, I'm happy. I can enjoy the game, even though I've lost the game. Maybe that's what's holding me back from getting diamond, because I'm still stuck on plat 1. But yeah, that's cool. Like, everybody can enjoy the game in a different way. The problem is when players get toxic. Like, as you said, like, losing a game is not a big thing. But if you're being toxic with other people, yeah, that's what ruins the game, and it's really hard to deal with that from company perspective, developer perspective. Yeah.
And yeah, so from what you said, I assume you really like heroes like Yasuo or Yoner and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but Yasuo, I'm so bad. I can't. I don't know how to play Yasuo. Like, it's hard for me. He's the only character of the flashy one. But Lee Sin, I love Lee Sin, Zed, Kiana. What else?
Akshan.
Oh, even Gragas. I like Gragas a lot.
It's KDA Gragas. Have you seen the meme of KDA Gragas?
No, it's probably funny. I can't.
Listen,
I can't imagine that.
There's been like petitions on Twitter, like unofficial petitions, of course, and artists like Drew, like made videos for Gragas and KDA type custom that Gragas should be the next member of KDA. And
yeah,
like,
that would be so dope. That would be really dope. Oh my god! Or maybe Star Guardian Gragas. Imagine Leo Gragas in high school with all the girls just chilling. That would be really cool. But yeah, fast combos. That's what I do. What it does for me.
Yeah, and there's so many things fun with League, and I guess the only thing that's stopping people from playing more is just the community, which of course nothing can be done that much about it, I guess.
Yeah, there's just so much you can do about it.
Yeah, but just one last thing before I leave the subject is another meta that I used to love a lot about with Nasus is Assassin Nasus, just going full critical like Yasuo build with Nasus, and you
really?
get getting.
I don't think I've lived through that. I was playing. It was a long time ago, or it was recent.
It was like a couple of years ago, but I still do it sometimes. I used to before I deleted the game, by the way. Like, listen, it's so enjoying, and as you know,
there's this one that you would probably love so much, which is Draktar Nasus. Like, you just smash people and disappear. Oh yeah, the new Draktar passive.
Yes. That's literally what I was gonna say. You pick Draktar and you build a bunch of other a Stormrazor and just high crit items because as you know,
Collector. You get Collector, which is that one that.
Depends. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, as you know, every champ has a different animation for crit attacks. Do you know that? I mean, of course, you know that.
Yeah.
And Nasus has, first time I ever played this build, I was like, what is Nasus doing? He's doing this thing with his axe, but I was like, no, it's his crit animation. And because no one plays like Nasus crit, no one sees that, And when you get 700, 800 stacks and you just go hide in the bush and just bam and just
disappear. Yeah, it's a nightmare for the enemy team. It's so funny,
disgustingly fun. You have no idea.
Yeah.
But the only thing about Valorant that I think people. I'm sure they've probably thought of it, but the thing that I think should be implemented is sort of system that could, because sometimes you have a lot of griefers in your team, and from round 2 you can see people who your teammates want to mess with you, so they don't surrender at all, and they just want to torture you. And if you abandon the game, you get a penalty. That is a real thing. But of course, because I guess it doesn't happen that much, they don't really consider it. But it's a really bitter experience that just want to delete the game, honestly. And if there could, and for example, in League, they did the thing that, if the KDA of someone is too high, their def is too high, they're probably feeding, so it's going to automatically detect it as, feeder. But they don't realize that there's a champ called Scion that its whole purpose is to feed, And this is weird stuff. Yeah, I know it's hard, and I'm sure people.
Yeah, it's hard to. Penalty is a hard thing as well. Only to know when to, because a lot of happens in a game. Yeah.
But it's always so satisfying when you get that feedback report message that someone reported is getting.
That's true.
That is so good to hear. That's true. Sweet. And all right. Let's.
You gotta go back to play, man.
No, man, don't go to League. You lose your sanity. I mean, go if you have a 5-stack friends on Discord, go for it. But if you don't,
I mostly play with friends. Yeah, 2 to 3 friends every day.
Yeah,
but by myself, no way.
Yeah, exactly, no way. And the next thing actually I want to ask you is about your design process. And
let's talk about it.
Yes. So how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a new piece or project? Basically, what does the structure of your pipeline looks like? And I think now is a great segue that you can also indulge us with information about incorporating 3D into 3D artwork, which of course, as I mentioned in the introduction, there's a really handy link in the captions as well with the interview he did before with Tyler Edlin about the 1-hour interview completely on this subject. I mean, he's going to talk about it briefly right now, but if you want more info, juicy info on that, there's a link in the captions on the YouTube video. So, sorry for
Yeah,
that.
nice. But so yeah, the thing is, I do have a process, but at the same time, I don't. Because after working and studying for a couple of years, I've noticed that the optimal way or the best process that you can have is being able to adapt yourself to each situation. Like let's say, because for personal work, like you can do whatever you want because you have like all the time of the world. But when it comes to the entertainment industry, the best way is to be always smart about things. Because if you just, okay, I know how to do things this way, but is this the best way to do everything? Probably not, because like different projects, different paintings, different subjects, they need different ways to approach. And that's where I like that's where I stand when it comes to process. Like I use 3D, but okay, I'm going through the whole my usual process. But again, I just want to say that for each piece, I always try to be smart about things. Like, should I use 3D in this one, or is the best way to just use 2D? How much is the 3D going to get in the way of me doing more crazy decisions design wise, or how much of the perspective work I can solve by using 3D? You know, like I have all these questions in my mind whenever I'm doing anything, because again, what is the best way? What is the smartest way? And again, I don't want to make it seem like that I'm trying to make things faster. That's one thing, but you have to take other things in consideration. Like sometimes your process can be super fast and super optimal and super clean, but you're cutting some of your creative in the process. You know, that happens a lot with 3D for me. Like sometimes I feel like if you do something or if you approach a problem, a design problem in 3D, you're going to spend so much time trying to get things right in 3D and dealing with all the 3D parameters and the mechanics of 3D that this is going to cut a little bit of your creativity, you know? Like, because if you're in 2D, you can just like do crazy shapes, for instance, super fast. So yeah, so usually my process is I have an idea, and I don't go exactly look for all the specifics of a reference. I just grab a bunch of images that sparkle something in my mind about the subject that I'm going to do, and then I start to sketch and use 3D sometimes. So sometimes I just sketch, and sometimes I'm like, okay, this is a room. Let me just quickly block a room in 3D, and then go back to Photoshop and draw over it. It's just drawing, just loose, ugly, trying different compositions. Okay, then when I have a direction, because that's important, experiment in 3D early on for me helps me to see faster which direction I want to go with a painting, you know? So, okay, it's going to be a big room. It's going to be like a bedroom or a living room or whatever. What is important for me to tell in this story? And then, okay, since I have decided like the specifics of my initial idea, I sit down and I start to grab all the references possible, tagging everything, organizing everything. So let's say I'm going to do a bedroom. Okay, it's a bedroom of a teenager boy from Japan, let's say. Okay, so what does a teenager boy usually have in his room in Japan? And then I started to search, naming things. Okay, books, a couple of books, soccer ball, or maybe a couple of mangas. And I start to like just doing a very well organized reference map. That's one of the things that I've learned in my first league project. My art director was so organized in his boarding and briefing that I've realized that the fact that it was super organized, I was faster, I was more creative, I was less stressed trying to find solutions for things. It was like, oh, so because sometimes like we are just going with the flow when looking for references, and it kind of makes you more confused about what you want, So if you map your references well at some point, it really does help you have like a big overview of what you're trying to create, So in the second step, I'm really looking for references, trying to find things that inspire me, but also things that I can name and tag and everything really, really well organized. Okay, the next step then is 3D. Not always, but a lot of times 3D. So I block things in 3D more specifically. I know it's going to be a room, a Japanese teenager room. Block things, test color schemes in 3D, which is something that it's really powerful about 3D, because if you're doing things in 2D and you have to, let's say, okay, I like this, but it should be nighttime. How are you going to do that in 2D? You're going to have to repaint everything. But in 3D, you just switch a couple of values and change colors. Boom, nighttime. So I like to play. And then when I'm really happy with this block in, I will go back to that reference map and I'll start to picking every single element that's going to be on that room in our example, and I'll be really modeling it, designing it in 3D, sometimes going to 2D to do a couple of sketches and experimenting shapes faster, but then in 3D really to each and every single element, thinking about it, like making it fit in the world that I'm creating, trying to do something original. Because, when you go look for references, most of the things are very generic. Like it's things that already exist. Everybody knows how they look. But if you're trying to create something new, especially if you're doing a heavily designed work, you have to think about how you're going to make something that is relatable to something that exists in reality, but at the same time is new and fresh and unique, And I really spend some time on each one of these props, because what is funny about 3D, later on I can also use some of these elements in different scenes for concept work. Let's say I model a beautiful bed and I need for another illustration a bed. I just pick one and use, and if I need to change, I change a little bit. But that's one of the powerful things about 3D as well. You can just like use things again. It doesn't happen in 2D that much, because like how you're going to use something that is fixed in a camera angle, let's say. Okay, but then after I spend all this time modeling, carefully designing every single thing, I put it all together, render, and then paint over. Yeah, so that's what I do most of the time. But yeah, this is for the, let's say, the big and complex projects. But for like just sketches or more loose painting, sometimes I don't even do that deep of a research. I just block things, experiment with lighting, do some painting, mix a little bit of 3D with 2D, which is cool, I keep experimenting with different processes. It's what keeps us fresh, I'd say. But yeah.
All right, awesome. And of course, if anyone who's still hungry for knowledge in this area, you can, as I said for the third time now, in the captions, there's a link to interview he did with Tyler Edlin, and he goes in full about this whole process of involving 3D in your process as well, in your workflow in concept art. And yes, because the thing is, people.
I also do live streams.
On Twitch.
The most recent ones are in Portuguese. But I should be starting to do a couple of live streams in English, showing my process, like doing from scratch paintings using Blender, etc. So yeah,
is this on
if you're
YouTube
interested in Twitch, I do live streams on Twitch. Yeah, mostly on weekends, Sundays, Saturdays. Yeah.
Yes, so of course, as I mentioned, like I have your Twitch link in the captions as well, so it's right below your Twitter link that I put, so people can find you there. And the thing is, people, I guess, are confused and scared, just about anything, not just art. Like when people start to photo bashing, people were like, some other artists were like, no, that's cheating. You shouldn't do that. And
I have a strong opinion about this, but finish talking and I'll be happy to share.
And the thing is, like, even with 3D, people, when they started using Blender, and it started to catch on, people are like, oh, that's cheating. You're just lacking in fundamentals of composition and blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, fine art illustration and concept art are two major different things. And I've said this a lot of times in the other episodes because it's a common theme that happens during the podcast. But mate, you're doing concept art. You're in the pipeline of working on a piece of entertainment media. You just want to get the work done and fast and finished. You don't need to make a fine art that goes in a fucking gallery. Of course, you're going to use different tools to convey your message better.
Yeah.
You can use AI is a recent hot thing that's been popping off. With the concept. Oh no, that's cheating. We're taking our jobs. I just literally just cringe so hard when I hear this stuff. I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but come on.
The thing is, you don't want to cheat. You know what you can do. Go into the forest, find your own tools with sticks, and just draw on rocks. Just like the old people. Like if you're using Photoshop and you have Control Z, we're so used to Control Z, but it's a huge thing. Like if you're oil painting 100 years ago, you don't have Control Z, so you are already cheating. Now, there is the chance of you be lacking in fundamentals and try to depend on technology to avoid or to fill in the gaps. But the thing is, if you lack the fundamentals, it doesn't matter how much 3D you know, your piece is going to suck. Like your artwork is not going to be good. People that know how to use 3D and are good artists and they use 3D, they know the fundamentals. Like it's a myth thinking that you can just not know and lack in fundamentals and just use technology to fill in the gaps. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to know the basics. No matter which software you're using, AI, 3D, photo bashing, the amount of ugly photo bash work that I've seen online, it's crazy. Like you cannot just copy paste a tree over a scene and hope it works. It does not work like that. And also, usually people that are like saying those things like, oh, you're cheating using this sort of stuff, these people are like probably just starting out in art. I don't want to be harsh on them, but they are not professionals. You will never see a professional saying something like this. Oh, it's cheating, using 3D. They might say, oh, I prefer to do things that way, but never it's cheating to use. Like if, again, you're using Photoshop, you have Control Z, that's already cheating. So go and cheat, That's what I say to my students, because I have a class in Brazil and I teach Blender for concept art for them. And I joke a lot with them, like, this course is about cheating, is about lying. It's about doing all the wrong things that people on Twitter are telling you it's wrong. But you're going to do it the right way. You're going to cheat the right way. And yeah, I just have fun with this. But yeah.
You know what? I'm going to even go a little bit further and say, even if you want to do like personal projects, even fine art projects or ideas and visions, even in terms of fine art, cheat. Because anything that could help you visualize your vision that you have in your head.
Exactly.
What's the problem?
James Gurney?
Yes.
So James Gurney actually built his paintings in real life. He sculpt things to have a reference, and then he paints. Like, what is the difference using 3D and modeling things? He's literally creating his models in real life. To whatever you do that helps you be more creative and express your ideas. Be open to it, like open-minded to it,
But of course,
the thing about AI is people are afraid of losing their jobs. I think it's a little bit different, but yeah, it's kind of the same. Some people do say that it's cheating, but yeah, I feel like we need to be more open-minded about these things, because if you're not open-minded from the beginning as a student, you might be watching the podcast and you're just like starting out thinking about starting a career in the entertainment art industry. One of the most powerful things that you can be is open-minded, for critique, for feedback. Like there ain't no way you're going to reach anywhere if you're just like constantly in a combative mode, not taking any criticism, And yeah, open-minded is one of the most OP skills for an artist, I'd say. Yeah.
Awesome. And like not just that. I mean, of course, when you're doing like personal fine art projects for yourself and you want to bring your vision, as I said, yeah, I mean, it's fine to use a SUS. But the thing that, this is my personal conflict I have in myself. Like, I'm like, all right, if I want to make a scene and, all right, I make it in Blender, then I want to give it the painterly feel in Photoshop, I basically have to trace it. And that kind of makes me feel like this is like a personal
You
thing.
wasted work. That's how you feel. Like I'm wasting work.
I feel like I'm not an artist and I'm just cheating, and that's just because I'm basically tracing over things. And
oh yeah,
that way I guess it gets a bit problematic in my personal opinion. For me, I mean, I don't want to judge other people, but just
no. Yeah, I feel like the way at least for me, the way I approach art, it also depends on what I'm doing. Like it's something for myself, and I have like all the time in the world. Then if I was doing that in your case, like okay, it's personal work. I can just leave the 3D in one side and use this as a reference, and then get rid of the feeling of cheating and tracing over. But if it's a work, like you don't have that much time, you need to solve a problem, and then you should be mature about this, I would say, and just just tell yourself, okay, this is work. I still need to pay bills. I'm just happy to do that through art. And yeah, just I feel like, and actually I feel like this is one of the things that it's important to understand, having to separate your personal life, your personal work from work for company work, because this is something that I always tell people, especially people that are like I meet on art events and they are just starting out, or people that look to my stuff online and they are like, oh, I really want to do that. I always tell them, you have to try yourself, but remember, if you like to draw and paint that, or if you like to watch anime, let's say most of people start because they love anime, that doesn't mean that you will like to work with that. It's two completely different things. Working and just painting at home wherever you want, the way you want, in the time you want, because you're going to be really frustrated if you think it's going to be all flowers and fun. Because doing work, it's doing what others want, the way other people want, and you just have to be mature about it. And I think that's the healthiest way to be, because if you kind of mix things, and it also comes down and comes close with the discussion about your value as an artist and how many followers you have, something that we were discussing before starting the podcast. You have to know how to separate things, your value as a person from your work, and work that you do for companies and personal work. Because if you mix things up, you're just going to end up frustrated and sad all the time, I'd say. Yeah.
All right. I mean, these are like some fascinating subjects we're talking about, by the way. Like, I kind of love these discussions and just getting to know different side of the perspective. And I hope like other people who are listening to this podcast, hopefully in the future, because right now it's July 20th, the day we're recording this podcast. And you're probably watching this on September 4th. Wait, let me check actually. Yes, September 4th. And which is the day that this episode will be uploaded. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And just by the way, I forgot to ask you, the city that this Star Guardian event is going on is called Valorant.
Yeah, Valorant without the T. Valorant City. Yeah.
It's just making my brain tickle a bit, like, because they're both like too similar, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Funny. A funny fun fact, one of the files I was sending to the team was Valorant City Hillside, and I added a T, like Valorant City, and people were like, Kevin, it's a different game. I'm like, oh, my bad, because it's really similar. I don't know why. I mean, I guess the Star Guardians existed before the Valorant game, so
I mean, it's really weird because we had the Viego sword as a melee item in Valorant, like actually as in like Sentinel of Light, Vandals.
Yeah, everything is kind of connected. I don't play Valorant. I don't know. Honestly, I know nothing about Valorant.
It's way more fun than League, by the way, just letting you know.
Really? But I'm so bad at shooting games. Like, I'm just really bad.
Pick Killjoy. Just use your abilities, Honestly, it's so fun.
Okay, I'm going to give it a chance. But I'm afraid I'll be addicted to it because, oh my God, I'm already addicted to League. Oh man, and I need to find time to work in between my games.
Oh man.
Sorry.
No worries, it's fine. But yeah, Valorant is really fun. Like the other game, like I literally legit have two games installed on my PC right now, and I mostly like, my main entertainment is YouTube and just Twitch or other stuff. I only play games whenever like one of my friends message me on Discord and say, hey, want to play online? Yeah, sure, because I don't want to play them solo. And the other game aside from like Valorant that I have on is Phasmophobia. I don't know if you played that.
Yeah, I know.
Have you played
that? I haven't played. No, I haven't. Man, I just play League, man. I play League. I play Minecraft Dungeons. Among Us when it was trending. Fall Guys sometimes. It's... Among Us, yeah. And I play Valheim. Have you played Valheim? It's the Vikings Minecraft. It's so good.
Are you kidding me?
It's really good. Valheim, it's so good.
Listen, me and my couple of friends made the meta in Valheim.
Really?
Yes. Do you know what meta that is?
No, I don't know what it is.
Oh my god! Like my brain just suddenly exploded when you said Valheim. It's like a whole memories and I have screenshots. Basically, and I actually learned this is everyone. Listen, wait, pay attention to me. I have something really important to say here. All right, because during the development of the meta in Valheim that I basically came up with, and me and my friends kind of collaborated with, and I've learned a really important life lesson. I'm not kidding. I know it sounds kind of cringe and just weird, but just bear with me. And,
I'm listening. Tell me.
All right. So in Valheim, there's like, I think it's in development, by the way, but the 5th boss is Yaglov that's in the Plains biome. Have you beat that boss?
No, I've beat 3 of the bosses.
The swamp boss, yeah. The swamp boss, yeah.
Yeah, the swamp is so annoying.
Yeah, like,
it's really annoying. It's really annoying, yeah.
But when you actually learn...
my friend, by the way, a quick thing. My friend discovered a bug where you can multiply your items by logging in and logging off in a weird way.
Yeah.
And we did that, like we were all overpowered with items, and then even that way, it was really hard to beat the swamp boss. No. Like, it's extremely hard. Like all the fire arrows and strong ass arrows, it was really hard.
No, because every mob has a certain weakness, and arrows doesn't work on the swamp boss at all. You should use hammers, actually. Hammers and block work the best.
Yeah, we used, but like you can only use hammers. I mean, someone was baiting and making it triggering the attack, and everyone else was smashing. Yeah, but some of us were low, and then we would just shoot arrows. But
potions, good foods, man. Valheim is so fun, man. I'm getting addicted again.
Yeah, Valheim. I had such a great time, man. Oh my god.
Same, man. Same. And the thing is, listen, we beat all the bosses. We did all the hard things. We killed serpents. We trapped trolls in a hole and made it like a troll zoo, basically. And we did a lot of things. And actually, we named one of them. And around the cage of the troll, we put trophies of other different trolls, so it would traumatize the troll constantly.
Oh my god, you guys were like role-playing so hard.
Yes, exactly. And the thing is, listen, at the very top of a huge mountain, we built a base camp, all right? And here's where it gets fun. I spent a lot of time, not in creative mode, by the way, building a huge wooden slide with roofs and stairs. And we built a Viking ship up on top of the slide, and we would get on the ship and we break the wood that is in front.
I think I've seen a couple of videos of people doing the most crazy things with flying ships.
It is so fun. You have no idea. And here's the thing.
That probably takes so much time to do. Because I remember building on Valheim, it's harder than in Minecraft, for instance. Like, you have to make things, balanced. Otherwise, it would collapse.
It is worth it. It is worth it. Trust me. It's so stupidly fun. You have no idea. Like, especially in another Viking ship, actually, in a car, which is small. And it was just lit, and just throw you around like a ragdoll and just... it's so fun.
Oh my god. Yeah, that looks hella fun. Oh my god. Yeah, I love this. I love games like this.
Yeah. And the thing is, the life lesson I learned...
What is the life lesson? Yeah, I was going to ask about
Everyone, listen, this is important, all right? So at the game, we've got OP in everything. We got everything, And if you, for example, right now realize that in real life, you have everything. You are maxed out, you're Elon Musk level rich, and you probably, give a lot of your money to charity. You buy yourself probably 10 Lamborghinis, and you do everything. You're OP in every way. what is after that, what is there that keeps you excited and what makes your life fun and not feel depressed and lonely and just miserable about the inevitable death that's coming for all of us. And I realized just having fun with the little things is enough, because at the time we had everything. We had the best armors, we had the best weapons, we had the best of everything, but
just trolling with the trolls and making crazy ass ships was the fun.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
the high powerful equipment, not the
exactly.
That makes sense. And just like real life.
Yeah, exactly. Some people, for example, you might find them doing things that they like, which for some of us might seem random. Like, for example, there was this artist in America that I think there are multiple of these I saw. Like, for example, they lived in like a junkyard, and they turn this junkyard into their workshop, and they do art and things like that. And for example, in Valheim, you couldn't do much. So the thing that was very fun for us was just going on slides and just having fun, And as simple as that, honestly, like, because what else can you do? You can't do anything. Yes, I mean, you might get religious and try to read all the religious texts and all, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change what's next, So just chill, relax, find something you enjoy, and keep yourself distracted, in a simple, technical way that I could describe. And
yeah, I feel like coming back to the art topic, this is one of the things that I see people today, a lot of this, especially because like it's a lot more popular. Like you have a lot of podcasts, you have YouTube tutorials, everybody's talking about this. If you're in the group, that like people are too focused. Okay, I want to work for this company. What can I do to work on this company? But back when I was studying, I was not thinking about like there and how cool would be if I work for X or company. What I wanted to do is do cool drawings the way I wanted. I was not trying to please an audience, which is another big thing today, like because of social media and stuff. Sometimes you can fall, and this is something that probably everybody that comes to your podcast at some point will say or agree that we as an artist, we can fall in these traps of trying to please people. But the thing is, do your thing, as you said on Valheim, like the small things, do your own thing. And if other people consider that small, but you think it's a big thing, keep doing that. Keep doing that. Don't be looking and expecting things to be good when you have whatever. Do what you like now, the way you like now. And people will see that you're passionate about it. And they will probably pay for you to do that for them. But they will pay you. That's what happened to me, I was just doing things the way I wanted. And have fun with this. And eventually people are like, oh, I like that. That's one of the reasons why today, especially for Riot, I don't have to do something so different from what I already do in my portfolio, I do what I already like to do in my personal work, but they pay me to do that. That's the difference. It's so cool. It's such a bless. Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, I've actually heard this a lot, the same story you said from a bunch of other artists, and it's so true. But actually, another thing I want to say, a really great thing that Riot is doing is just hiring people who are working on passion projects which are related to Riot. Like, and just in every position. Like, a couple of months ago, do you know Soup Renal? I think I'm mispronouncing their name on Twitter, but they're like, they discussed Valorant lore a lot on Twitter and analyzing stuff, and they actually got hired by Riot to actually work on their lore team, and which is super cool. Yes, and
that's so cool.
Yeah, exactly, and not just that, Riot is actually doing a really good thing by hiring third-party studios to work on their third-party games. Like, what is the name of the game which was Ruined King game? The one which was kind of turn-based action.
Yeah.
The Ruined King, yes, the Ruined King game. And there was like a bunch of other, like, there's an Echo platformer game. There's like another Nunu and Willump like racing game and stuff like that. And here's the thing that I have an idea for a really cool Riot game in the same universe. And for anyone who's listening, if you want to work on it, it's fine. Just if you even wanted like more ideas about this concept, just message me. But do you know the skin set of like Timo, which is Omega Squad Timo, Omega Squad Tristana, Omega Squad Twitch? Do you know them?
Yeah, Fizz, Omega Squad Fizz.
Yes, and do you know the lore of it?
No.
Long
I'm not a
story.
huge lore guy. You have to tell me.
Oh, listen, but basically, it's like right? Like League has a lot of like alternate universes, parallel universes.
Yeah.
That's how they explain like the different skins and characters. And in a parallel universe, there's Omega Squad, which consists of like Timo, Fizz, Veigar, Tristana, and
Twitch.
Twitch. Thank you. And in that, they're like high tech mercenary group that they do missions and stuff like that. And from the beginning, Timo is like a pretty green character. He's like the normal Timo we know. But as the operations go, one by one, different members die of the Omega, and the last remaining member of the squad will be Timo, which is the Omega Squad Timo that you see. And for example, the Timo that you see, he learned stuff from Twitch, learned artillery stuff from Veigar, which is his shrooms, learned he learned different abilities from different members, and he's like a really dark character, had that remembers all his squad, and you can see the voice lines. And here's the game idea: imagine a third person team based mission based action game, which for example, imagine like 4 different people online could play each different characters. Like one is Tristana, and everyone has different abilities, and they have to go to different missions. For example, one of the missions in my head is going to be like, for example, they need to apprehend and arrest the Zaunite, Chem Baron, which is actually Urgot, And in my head, I just made the story, and they have to be deployed and go and kill a bunch of enemies, and the boss fight.
Yeah, the universe is so big that the possibilities are like infinity. Like that's so cool, man. I wish I was as passionate as you with lore.
I am.
I mean, as I said, I like mechanics, but I should get more into lore. League, it's fun. With Arcane, I got so excited with all the different characters and the world building. So, but yeah, that's a great idea, man.
The thing
but
is,
how do you imagine that? Like, how does an action game like that would work? It's not a shooter. It's not a
exactly.
MOBA.
Listen. No. It's a third-person shooter. It's a third-person ability-based shooter, but it's not going to be. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Have you played like Mini Ninja? Or do you remember Mini Ninja? It's a game from 10 years ago on Xbox and PC.
No,
and if you
I
watch
don't remember.
I would like that mixed with the third-person shooter. That everyone's doing their own thing. And sometimes you have to cooperate to get something done, and to move through some obstacles and challenges. But in my head, that sounds something so fun that I would play. And like the thing that I even envision in my mind is that you could literally like implement, for example, Tristana or Veigar abilities in a third-person game, or even Fizz, like with the jump dynamics, with the, what I mean? Like there's so many. Yeah, and the thing is, aside from art, one of the things that I genuinely love since I was a kid, and I'm a sucker for, and I even write my own like stories and IPs, is writing. I love writing. I love a well-written character. I love a well-written story. I love lore. And when I see potential with it, I love to, in my head work with it. All right, I'm not a game developer. I'm not a huge, amazing artist that I can, visualize them, but I can at least, tell them as a story, at the very least.
Yeah.
But of course, hopefully one day when I get the free time and just everything, I can actually, hopefully work on them. But that is something that excites me, because imagine if a third-party studio like the other studios that work on other Riot games works on that. Because that to me is like a huge potential, and I would literally put my money to buy it. And the main character and I even have a single player campaign in mind. Your main character will be Timo, of course, in different missions to get introduced in different characters and abilities. You get to play with each of them in separate missions as tutorial. But the main character will be Timo, and everyone is like edgy and oh my god, but Timo is the normal Timo. And he changes and learns different abilities as each level continues, and members die, and Timo learns something from them. And in the end, in the 2-3 final missions, he turns into Omega Squad Timo as we know, with the full costume and just edgy voice lines and everything. And I guess has to go kill the boss or the person or people who made their squad dead. And that's
cool, man.
That is actually a good concept, honestly. I don't know, I'm getting excited. I don't know about you.
I can see. Man, that's cool. They have so many different worlds going on with all the side, the parallel worlds. Let's say it is really exciting. And the team that I'm currently working right now, which is the R&D, is the team that does exactly that. is a team that responsible for working with the new games and new possibilities. So that's one of the things that excites me the most currently, being able to work on different things, still on the kind of Runeterra universe, League universe, which I've learned to love throughout the years. But again, new games, and yeah, it's so exciting, man. And seeing you so excited, it's so nice, man. Being able to bring joy to people that love the world, the League world is amazing.
Yeah, and by the way, if anyone in Riot is listening to this or anyone wants to work on this, by the way, the great thing about podcasts is if you say an idea, you can have it as an evidence right now. So yeah, Riot, if you're listening, text me, I guess. I don't know. All right. So sorry for the rambling on that. I got a bit way too excited, and yeah, I kind of lost track of time. But all right, so let me ask you another question, which is, who are some of your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Ryan Lang. Do you know Ryan Lang? Working for, I think, Disney. He's always been one of my main inspirations, especially for style. But recently, Aliyah Chang, she is so good, man. Like, it's unbelievable. Do you know her work?
Who again?
Aliyah Chang.
No, I don't think so.
Man, you're missing out. Like, she is currently working as a development artist for Netflix. And she actually has a twin sister. And they are both insanely good. Like, they are both artists. And they're both insanely good. Like, the way she tells the stories. Like, because, you know, as an environment artist, as someone that paints backgrounds, most of us, we do that wide shot, showing everything with a small character, with a stick or with a dog or in a horse, you know.
Always with the red robe.
Yeah, exactly. But she does actual movie frames on her paintings. Like, the composition is so good and everything is so good, man. You have to check her out. So she is being one of my main inspirations for probably the last year. Like, all I want to do is do things like her in my style, of course, but kind of like her. And that the painting that I did with the character reading and the telescope, it was really, really inspired by the way she does things. So carefully, well planned. And, well, what else? I mean, I love League of Legends, splash artists. Well, yeah, but Aliyah Chang is the main one currently.
Send me your ID after this, actually. You know, I want to check your stuff out.
Yeah, for sure.
I might even invite her to the podcast, you know.
Yeah, I think she would. Yeah, she might accept. I don't know. I talked to her a little bit because I was so obsessed with her work. I was searching online to try and find whatever tutorial or whatever interview just to have a grasp of how she thinks, you know. But there's nothing out there. So I reached out to her on Twitter and I asked if she had anything anywhere so I can check, and she said no. But then she showed me a little bit of her process. We talked a little bit and I was surprised because it's just as messy as mine. So at the end of the day, she's not doing anything magical, you know. She's just like carefully planning and carefully doing her thing, which I might sometimes not be doing that carefully. Maybe because I'm too anxious to while creating. That's something that can happen. But yeah, which was a relief, you know. Realizing that the people that you admire a lot are just like you in a lot of ways. So that means that you can be like them, kind of. But yeah, let me think. Oh, Corey Lofts. It's do you know his work? Character designer for art director for Zootopia. Yeah, he's so good at character design and design in general. Oh, Florent LeBloom, I don't know if I'm saying the names correctly. Quentin Mabille, all these guys, like they are the first group of artists that I've mentioned are more towards the cartoonish movie industry, and then Quentin Mobile, Florent LeBlanc, Shady, Safari, they are on the movie but more realistic side of the industry, you know, and they are so good at using 3D and all sorts of technology to create like stunning artwork for a while, and still to this day they are a huge inspiration in my life to like reach that level of crafting, you know. They're so good, man. Pity that Quentin Mobile used to have a Patreon, which he would share a lot of his process and stuff, but he doesn't have it anymore. But yeah, it was really good to learn from him back then. Like Blender, he's a Blender mage. And recently he posted a work. It was him or Florent LeBlanc. I don't remember exactly. But one of them posted a work of Studio Ghibli. I mean, they didn't work for Studio Ghibli. They did a fan art of Porco Rosso in 3D, and it's so beautiful, man. And I love Studio Ghibli, so yeah, they are a really huge reference in my life to this day. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think these are the names that I can remember now. Brazilian names: Peque. I can send you all the links later for you to link in the description. I don't know,
Yes.
on YouTube, so people can check them out. But yeah, Piquet, he's currently a Brazilian artist working for Netflix. He's mainly character designer. So good. Victor Quaresma, which is a close, not that close, but a friend of mine. He is so good at designing as well. I think he's working for Blizzard right now. But yeah, so great guys, great guy. Yeah, these are the names that I can remember, because I feel like back when I was younger, I used to remember a lot more the names, but now with social media, the amount of people doing art, it's that you see, it's a lot more, and we started to depend more on technology to remember things. That's why I'm not remember right now. But yeah, these are a couple of names that I remember. They're so good. Everybody watching this, check them out, especially Aliyah Chen. Like, shout out to her if she ever watches this podcast. I love your work, Aliyah Chen. You're so good. It's crazy.
You know what? I usually pick a segment of each podcast for the teaser, a couple of days before the upload. And if you want, I can, pick this, previous couple of seconds that you shout out to her, as your teaser of this episode. If you want, we can do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And or I actually wrote the timestamp even for later editing, just for you. And okay, so here's an interesting question that I usually don't ask everyone, but since you've been working professionally for Riot, and Riot is like a mecca for a lot of artists, I want to ask you: do you have any advice and tips for a good portfolio and resume for for example, let's say for Riot? How should you, as for a junior artist?
I have, but not for Riot, because the way that I get my job there wasn't really like interviews and stuff. I was a friend of a really good artist, Kalen. By the way, another artist for you to check out, Kalen Chalk. He does the same type of work that I do in a different style.
Kalen Chalk, he was on the podcast before.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, awesome then. Yeah, he's such a nice guy. So he got the opportunity to work for Riot, but he couldn't at the time. So he mentioned my name for the team, and then they reached me out. He's a good friend. So yeah, that's the way that I got the job. Like, lucky, I don't know, because I when it comes to creating, but then kind of really replying to your answer to your question, when it comes to building a portfolio, two main things: don't try to do something to please others, because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, but you do that and people ended up hiring you to do that, you're going to be miserable, because you will be doing, okay, I'm on Blizzard, I'm so happy to be working for this huge company, but at the end of the day, you're going to be you and Photoshop. And if you don't have fun doing that, no matter where you are, you're going to be miserable. So do things the way you want to do, of course, with fundamentals, high level of work. We don't have to say that. Yeah, that's expected. So do things the way you want to do. And the second thing is, your portfolio has to be kind of consistent. And by that, I mean the person that's going to hire you wants to see your portfolio, and without even talking to you, it's important for them to know where to put you in the pipeline. Like, what do you do? Because if you have like a couple of background studies here, and then some random characters here, and then a couple of portraits of like hyper realistic paintings here, like they all can be amazing, but the person is going to look at that and be like, okay, but what do you are specialized? Like what do you do? Because you're doing all sorts of things, but if you do everything, you kind of don't do anything, in a way. So it's really important for your portfolio to kind of be focused. Pick something. You can be just like me. Like, I like to do characters, but if you go to my portfolio, it's all mostly backgrounds, all in the same level of polishment, style, So when someone comes to me, they know exactly what I do, the way I do, and they know where to put me. And that's important, be consistent in your portfolio. And yeah, I think that's a good word. Consistent and clear. That's another important word. If you do these two things, do what you want, and you're consistent, you're probably going to get hired. And also, do some networking. People at the end of the day, they need to see your work. No matter how good you are, if no one sees your work, there's no way you're going to be hired, So put yourself out there. Talk to people, Twitter, Instagram. Of course, don't fall for the usual social media traps, but share your work. ArtStation. To this day, I share my stuff on Facebook because there are a couple of art directors that they see my stuff there. They're kind of boomer art directors, They don't really use Twitter. So yeah, they're watching my stuff from Facebook. So Facebook, ArtStation, Twitter, Instagram. These are the main platforms that I shared everything. You have to put yourself out there, and don't wait to be good, because being exposed sometimes will help you with criticism from other people. Like, good criticism, it happens, but you have to put yourself out there. This is another thing that I forgot to mention when I was talking about my experience growing up and getting into the industry, which was, it's so much harder to learn and grow alone. So if you have a group of people, Discord chat, channel, or whatever, people that are as passionate as you with art, they have a vision and they are working towards that, join them, because you can be stronger that way. Throughout the years, I have never being isolated and just learning by myself. I was always with a group of people sharing what I've learned. They would share with me what they learned. We would give feedback to each other. And today, we're all working and we are all connected. By the way, some of my friends that I made very early on when I was just starting out, they're also working for Riot in the same project that I am. So that's crazy, to think that. And we're, constantly talking. If I can't work on something and one of them is available, I will hook him up, So yeah, you have to build those bridges, and it's really important because when we don't say it that much, but besides the art side of things, like you have to be good, you have to know what you want to do, etc. When someone is hiring you, they want to be confident that you are going to be trustworthy. They're going to be able to do the work and be honest, So that's why usually we go for people that we already know. There's the human side, let's say, you know what I mean? Not only the professional side, there's the human side. If I'm going to hire someone, I want someone that I can trust, that I know it's not only going to do the work well, but is going to know how to work in group, it's going to know and how to receive feedback, and all these things are important. So you can practice all those things, joining a group and interacting with people. Yeah, it's super important. Yeah.
All right. And by the way, there's just a really important thing I think I need to quickly mention on this is about like making connections. How do you know, for example, when someone's like trying to talk to you, are they just trying to make a connection with you just as a connection, or are they genuinely want to be your friends? Because of course, when you're genuinely friends with
That's
someone,
a good question.
because here's the thing, this is actually a huge subject. By the way, of course, before I ask you, I know that probably your time is limited right now. So of course, I'm trying to wrap things up as much as I can. But this is something important I need to also point out as well, because especially in not just art, in everything, you have this behavior in everyone in some sense, and it's not always intentional. Sometimes it's subconscious in that person, that all right, they want to, for example, become friends with X or Y because they have a lot of followers or they're really well known and everyone likes them, and or for what I mean, that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you, for example, know when someone wants to become your friend, they're genuinely want to be your friends, or they just there to make a connection and just
Honest answer,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, that's a tricky
Some
thing.
people can be really with like, I wouldn't say necessarily bad intentions, but they might be trying to connect just to, let's say, use me, to get into contact with other people. But there's one thing, especially for me, I only post my work online, and usually I'm out. In the beginning, I was interacting a lot, but today I have like a close group of friends that we just interacting with each other. But I'm not like always constantly talking to people online. So if someone does that, I don't even know if I will be giving them that much attention. But I'm always happy to help, especially for people that are starting out. If they have any questions, I'm always happy to help. But to this day, I didn't have any bad experience of people like clearly trying to just get in contact to get something out of me. And if there are some, I don't know. But I think you kind of probably will know the difference between people that are for you there are for you and not to trying to get something, and people that are just interested in your status or whatever. I think it's you can kind of intuitively know that spending some time with them, unless they're like completely psychopaths. But yeah, that's something. That's something that might happen. I mean, I'm not that famous, honestly. Like, I'm not a huge artist. I don't consider myself a
No,
huge
it
artist.
doesn't matter. No, listen, sorry to interrupt you, but it's not necessarily about how huge.
See that it can happen more frequently
Yeah,
with
of
people that are
course.
like much bigger, that maybe they have like 500,000 followers. I'm just a simple guy in Brazil, just working for a ride, and got the chance, and it's happy to help them. That's how I feel. And but yeah, well, if at some point this happen, it's going to be really sad, and I'm pretty sure it does happen with a lot of people, which is why we have to be very considerate and patient when dealing with other people online, especially people that are like famous. You don't know, like, because even though I'm not famous, I do receive a lot of messages, and sometimes it's overwhelming. And I wish I could reply to everyone, with the same energy or the same enthusiasm. But that doesn't happen because I'm still trying to have my personal life, and deal with other things. So if you listening uh, reach to someone, because I just told you to connect, right? And you should do that. But at the same time, remember that the other person in the other side is human. It's just as human as you. It cries as you cry. It needs attention as much as you need. It needs time off. It needs to rest. And even though sometimes they will look like this perfect hero that does everything, is slamming jobs left and right, if they don't reply to you the way you want, unless they are completely jerks, but I don't think that's going to happen. If they don't reply to you right away, or if they don't reply to you the way you want, or they don't give you the proper attention, just be patient and remember that everyone is just trying to do their best to work. Yeah, that's one thing I would point out related to what you just said. People trying to get attention and connecting just for the sake of getting the job. Since we're going to almost finish the podcast.
No. By the way, I have time, but I was considered tough because you said you had
I need to leave in a couple minutes.
Yeah, I know.
One important thing is, even though it's super important to do networking and stuff, nothing beats passion work and good work. Nothing beats that. Like, you don't have to do that much of a networking. If your work is good and you're passionate about it, honestly, and you share out there, there will be space for you. There will be work. Trust me. Like, you can do all the side quests to try to get in the job, networking and go to art events, etc. But nothing beats a great and passionate work. People that hire are always looking for people that are passionate and true to their work. Yeah, I'd say that's one of the most important things. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to quickly add a couple of points to that as well is that because it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, this topic about connecting with people, and as someone who has also been doing the podcast and have to, by the nature of my work, connect with a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not condemning, by the way. I'm encouraging everyone to just go and talk to people. Try to talk to them. Yeah.
And the thing is, the people who are even doing that out of just getting connection out of someone, they don't do it necessarily maliciously. It's just something subconscious that they don't even know they're doing it for the sake of connection. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
I know.
The thing is, I guess, no offense, but just a correction on what you said. When you want to just be passionate at your core, be yourself. Very important. Just be yourself. When you want to connect with people, it always shows the passion just automatically shows. Trust me.
Yeah.
And that's all you need to do. You don't need to put much effort. You don't need to. Oh my God, I wrote like this. Just chill. Be yourself. You're good.
One example of that is me approaching Leah Chen to ask about her work. It wasn't me trying anything besides the fact that I was so hyped about what she was doing that I wanted desperately to learn from her, anything that I could possibly find. And that's what motivated me to reach out, and people can see that. As you just said, people will see that, it's clear. Yeah, for sure.
And with that being said, we've reached the final question and section of the podcast, which is called Time Capsule. Yes, before it used to be final words, but I changed the name because I was kind of stupid and dramatic. But Time Capsule is more appropriate actually when you hear what I'm going to say. So essentially, let me explain what it means. Imagine in a limited amount of time, maybe short few minutes, you had a window of opportunity and time to say anything from yourself, a human being, to any other human being that might be listening to that was kind of weird. And then any other human being, who else is going to listen to the podcast? Aliens? No, but you get the point. And to any
that would be cool.
Yeah,
if aliens, dear aliens, that's for you.
Yeah. Don't be discouraged. Work on your art. No worries. Yeah, and so for anyone who's listening at any point of time in the future, it could be 100 years, it could be 10 years, who knows? You don't know. And they're listening to this podcast, and they've reached at 1 hour 27 minutes 44 seconds, 45 seconds, 46, and going on. What do you have to say to them? It doesn't have to be an art related thing. It just has to be your time capsule, your couple legacy.
Okay. I hope we changed the way we consume things in general, and I hope we save the planet. That's my final message. I hope you're not trapped in a bunker and you found this old video and the world is collapsed, and you're just trying to survive. I hope you are chilling in your home. The way we consume things and we do economics and society is better. It's more equal. And I really hope the nature is healed because we only have the earth. Despite, we can go to Mars, whatever, Elon Musk, the earth is great. And we can still live here and do art. So yeah, that's what I would say for the future person that is watching. Aliens, don't destroy the planet. And I hope that I have made an impact on others people's life more than my work is well known for centuries. No, I hope I had made a difference in. It doesn't have to be that many people. Just have made a difference through my art or whatever. Yeah, that's what I want to say for the future.
All right, awesome. And that's a wrap. And thank you so much for coming by for this podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me, man.
Yeah, man,
really
it was
appreciate it.
blast,
Let's do this again in the future. Like there's
100%.
so much more conversations to be had. So
yes, trust me, I have some things planned up, but yeah, it's probably going to be fall because I'm super busy right now. And this episode will be uploaded actually on September 4th. So yes,
awesome.
But I will. Maybe I'll do the conversation sooner if I had the time. But anyway, I'll definitely let you know. Trust me. And
awesome.
Thanks so much for coming by, and thank you to anyone who tuned in and listened to this episode as well. And I hope you enjoyed this same as me. And if there's any comments or critiques or suggestions, please do let me know. Do let me know down in the comment section below, whether on Castbox, YouTube, Instagram, anywhere, it doesn't matter. Or you can shoot me a message on DMs. I always read them all. Nothing gets left unread. So yes, your comments are always checked. And that's about it. Stay safe, everyone. Take care. Until next episode. Bye.
Bye-bye.